Let's talk about the rest of the year. So, in the last two videos, for the last 2 days, we have talked about our worst and our best of the half year. Will they change? Will they stay the same? It's anyone's guess. But, that's the fact as of right now. There's one video left to do, and that is our most anticipated for the rest of the year. Now, the rules state this basically is anything from next week all the way until the end of the year. So anything is fair game.
In the top 10.
Yes. So we're going to start with AJ like always, and we're going to find out your list.
I cheated a little bit with my honorable mention. There's a movie that came out, last month at some point.
Okay.
That I have been dying to see so much.
I know what you're talking about.
And it's not coming anywhere near us because it had a wide release in about 600 screens and it didn't do very well financially, so it's probably just going to go away for a while until it comes out on DVD. I'm talking about The Rover.
I knew that was coming. Which
is, it's the director of Animal Kingdom, and it's his follow-up to it with Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson. And it's to my understanding that it's a very vicious, relentless, merciless story, and it's in like that kind of post-apocalyptic way, but it's a really basic story, but it has a lot of, gravitas.
Yeah, right on.
And I hear Pattinson is great in it, and I think he's making such great choices with his career post-Twilight, and really, really interesting choices. Like, they may not be the best of movies, they may not do that well financially, but as an actor, he's giving himself a whole lot of different opportunities.
He's got real range.
Yeah, that's a real smart thing to do.
Definitely.
Also, we can kind of throw in Locke and Cold in July in there, movies we unfortunately missed, but they're all just kind of locked in together here in my honorable mention.
So you have 3.
It's mainly The Rover.
Okay.
My number 10 is The Equalizer.
Yes.
Which reunites Denzel with Antoine Fuqua after Training Day. And apparently it's going to be a franchise movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not really much else to say. It's Denzel and Antoine Fuqua in a movie where Denzel basically gets to do his badass thing.
Yes. The trailer is awesome. I know you haven't seen it, but the trailer is awesome.
I don't need any other explanation.
No, not really.
Because I am a massive Denzel fan.
Yeah.
Me and my brother once marathoned his movies all in like 1 week. I'm a little iffy on my number 9, that's why it's so low. But it's the heart talking.
Yeah.
It's Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah.
I know it's probably not going to be very good. And it's going to be really, really horrible in comparison to the first one. But Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels really wanted to do it. The Farrelly brothers are back. There was a whole bunch of passion behind it. Jim Carrey practically, jumped down New Line's throat until they said yes.
Yep.
They're all really passionate about getting it done. And a part of me is telling me, because to my understanding, obviously I didn't see it, but to my understanding, the trailer got a really underwhelming reaction from most people.
Yeah, I've read a lot of things about that, actually.
But that could just be, overhyped, because this movie's 20 years old this year, and everybody loves it. It's a comedy classic.
Yeah, it
to
really
say
is.
the least. Everybody knows every line from Dumb and Dumber.
We still use lines like that to this day.
So, obviously, it's got a lot of pressure behind it, and that's probably going to end up making it fail, but if they were so passionate to get it made, and they're so confident in it, there's got to be something to it.
Yeah, absolutely. They wouldn't have made the script if they didn't have thought that it was going to do something.
Because Jeff Daniels is doing just fine. He just won an Emmy.
Yep.
And that show is, really acclaimed. I think it's about to end, but he's definitely got a leg to stand on. He didn't need to do this. He did it because he wanted to.
Exactly.
So, yes. We'll see what happens. My number 8 is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is mainly because I am extremely fascinated by the brilliance of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how they've been handling it.
Oh my god, it's insane.
And how the way this connects to it, too. It's not, right in the line, but it's, here. But it connects to the Avengers, but then it was also connected to Thor, too. And just this whole thing I find really fascinating, and it's really... I just crave the next movie. it's not. Then that's just something that you just don't do anymore.
No, not at all.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe has really brought back that you just can't wait for the next whatever. And just the way they're coming out with them, and they're retaining their quality.
Oh yeah.
Like we just talked about, we just had Captain America. So yeah, I think this. I'm hoping this could be something. And James Gunn is great.
Yeah, he is.
Most of the time. So yes, my number 7 is Birdman, which is the interesting concept of having an actor. It's about a stage actor who wants to basically make a name for himself as a serious actor after having been mostly associated with playing a superhero for most of his career. And the man they cast is Michael Keaton.
Sounds amazing.
And apparently there is a rival actor that he's at odds with, played by Edward Norton. And Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, who made 21 Grams of Babel and Amores Perros, made it. And apparently it's like really funny. It's like a comedy. So
The poster's phenomenal, by the way.
I am really, really excited to see how this turns out. And I think it could be another great role for Norton, because he's really been in need of those lately. Because he was known as like the greatest actor of his generation, and there was kind of a draw up, and now he's very slowly kind of showing back up in things.
The Anderson movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On number 6, once again, I'm a little, I don't know about. Inherent Vice.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie.
Yeah, we forgot about that.
I love every single one of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies very, very much, except The Master.
Yeah, I know you don't
I
like
was
it.
so looking forward to The Master, and it let me down so much. I'm concerned about Inherent Vice a little bit. But it's got a magnificent cast. Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro and Reese Witherspoon and Owen Wilson. Martin Short.
Finally! He's back.
And it's like an old-fashioned mystery, kind of like film noir thing, I think.
That sounds awesome.
So, hopes are high, but we'll see what happens, because The Master.
Master's not that bad.
My number 5 is Big Eyes. Speaking of Reese Witherspoon. No, that's another movie. That's the other one. I'm thinking of Amy Adams. I know what Big Eyes is. I made the mistake because I just said Reese Witherspoon's name. Big Eyes is Tim Burton's new movie with Christoph Waltz and Amy Adams. And apparently it's very un-Burton. Like they're saying it's almost calling back to like Big Fish territory.
Nice.
And Waltz plays this artist, and Amy Adams is, I guess, his
Muse?
struggling wife.
Oh, sweet.
And apparently Waltz, it's been screened, and apparently Waltz is like really goes for it, and like really sinks his teeth into it.
Let's get another Oscar, folks.
And there's been a lot of talk about Amy Adams too. It also apparently has some supporting parts from like Danny Houston and Jason Schwartzman, and I think quite a few people are in it. But I'm very curious to see mainly, number 1, the combination of Tim Burton and Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
And number 2, to see Burton go back to that un-Burton-y territory. My number 4 is Gone Girl. David Fincher's new movie with Ben Affleck. It's David Fincher.
Yeah.
That's all I need. The cast list is great. Like, Neil Patrick Harris is in there. And an interesting choice, Tyler Perry's in there.
Yep.
Just it's got a great cast list, but honestly, with David Fincher doing that back-to-back hit with The Social Network and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yep.
On top of all of his great movies prior to that, Seven, Zodiac, Fight Club, Panic Room. I love Panic Room. Not many people do, but I do.
Panic Room's really good.
I just can't wait to see how this turns out, because Trent Reznor is doing the score again.
Yes.
And you know Trent Reznor's mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know the places his songs have gone.
Yes.
He went on record after he did the score and said, "This movie is sick and twisted."
Nice.
If Trent Reznor says this movie's sick and twisted, I can't wait to see what's in it. Because it's based off a book that I would read, but I'm trying to go for the element of surprise this year, so I haven't been doing that.
How's that working for you so far?
Really well.
You'll probably never read
Or watch
anything
trailers
again,
ever
or
again.
watch trailers ever again.
My number 3 is Maps of the Stars. As I was talking about, Robert Pattinson's making some really interesting choices as an actor lately. This is David Cronenberg's new movie. It's their next movie together after Cosmopolis. It also has Julianne Moore, who I'm just in love with, and she won Best Actress at Cannes, which is amazing. And it's also got Mia Wasikowska and John Cusack in it, and it's basically like about the dark side of Hollywood. That's all you need to know to be excited. My number 2 is Interstellar, which is Christopher Nolan's next movie, another one with a gigantic cast. And I'm hearing it's basically his 2001. I did get to see that poster where the title's written vertically, and it looks like a poster for like Close Encounters. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be like really like Spielberg, I think, with that Kubrick stuff, because I think Kubrick's like one of Nolan's biggest inspirations.
You can tell.
I know hardly anything about it. I think most people are like that.
The trailer is very, very like not really tell what's going on. It's extremely vague.
So yeah, The Element of Surprise will definitely play in here. Just like with Inception, not many people knew much about it going in on purpose, so...
It's all from the Riddler's mind. I tried to tell you people years ago.
And naturally, my number 1...
I knew this was coming.
Is a movie that was on my list last year.
Yep.
Because it got unexpectedly pushed at the last minute. It's Foxcatcher. Bennett Miller's movie starring Steve Carell as John DuPont, the millionaire who went crazy and killed a wrestler after training and falling in with his brother. It also stars Channing Tatum and Mark Ruffalo. All 3 of them have a lot of Oscar buzz. Bennett Miller won Best Director at Cannes. It was normally when you look at the Cannes list, all the foreign movies, generally, especially the French movies, because they're in France, of course, are the ones that get a lot of acclaim. And most of the American movies are just like, it was okay, or I'm not really into that. Foxcatcher was one of the very best movies reviewed at Cannes. Like, its reviews were insane.
Yeah.
And mainly, the main attraction here is Steve Carell in this part. Because I think he's going to do fantastic here. I expect nothing but fantastic things. I know that's setting me up for a fall and disappointment, but I really trust him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can expect nothing but great things from this performance, and I think that's what I'm going to get.
Oh, yeah.
And Bennett Miller so far has done Capote and Moneyball, which, number 1, did really well Oscar-wise, both of them, and number 2 are really great movies, so this should fall right in.
I'd see no reason why it wouldn't. Alright. My honorable mention for anticipated for the rest of the year is actually going to be Paddington. Growing up, I remember reading the Paddington Bear stories, and it was something from my childhood, along with the Ramona series that kind of stuck with me throughout time. And a lot of people went that way with Dr. Seuss. I was that way with, like, Ramona and Paddington Bear, so I'm really interested to see how this is going to go. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting choice to make, I think, but it's something I think should be really good. My number 10 is The Book of Life. It is the Del Toro produced film, which looks really awesome. It's an animated film. And I believe the director's name is like Oscar Gutierrez, something like that, I believe.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Which is funny because I believe that's Rey Mysterio Jr.'s shoot name. But,
maybe that's why it sounds familiar.
Yeah, possibly. It looks really awesome. It's got some really interesting situations to it, and it's an animated movie that has Del Toro attached to it, so that sounds really fun. It looks a lot...
Guillermo, not Benicio.
Yes. Guillermo del Toro, of course. And I've seen the directions that his movies have gone. I'd love to see what's going to happen with an animated movie. He's involved with it. He's not the director, so it's going to be kind of like a Coraline situation. So
Burton and The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Exactly.
Most people still believe Burton directed The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And most people believe that Burton was behind... I know people that believe Burton was behind Coraline. I was like, no, Henry Selick did Coraline. Okay. My number 9 is Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 is something that I've been interested in ever since I first heard about it. Now, basically, Big Hero 6 is the first Marvel animated movie with the new Disney contract. And this is also a superhero film. It's based off the Marvel Universe as well. And the first trailer for this movie, I'm sorry to spoil it for you because you've heard it, that's about it. It's basically just like putting various items on this person who looks like the Michelin Man, basically. And all of a sudden, all of them pop off, and that's just like the teaser trailer for it. I think it's going to be really good, and obviously I'm a big Disney guy when it comes down to it. Everyone should know it's in my name. So I will say that, yeah, Big Hero 6 looks really good. So my number 7 is actually going to be Mockingjay. The Hunger Games movies are awesome in every way possible, and I'm really interested to see what they do with this second to last one, because technically this is 2 parts. Mm-hmm. So I really like how the characters have gone from beginning to end. It's like the Harry Potter movies, basically. It's like the characters have gone, we've followed them from the beginning, and now we're going to follow them all the way to the end. And I think this will set up the end conclusion finally when we get our resolve to everything. And I think it's going to be brilliantly amazing. And plus, it's going to be one of the last times I get to see Philip Seymour Hoffman in a theater here.
He'll be in part 2 also.
Yeah. Though the franchise is what I'm talking about, the movies together, it'll be one of the last times I'll get to see Philip Seymour Hoffman in a movie, because obviously stuff like A Most Wanted Man in God's Pocket's not coming here, so which is a shame, but hopefully we'll get to see them soon. You know what? I'll say right now that I really, really like a certain film that it's based off a British property. It's actually a television show in the UK, and we got it as a movie. It was called The Trip. It was a Steve Coogan movie.
Rob Brydon as well.
And Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan, I just love them dueling impressions back and forth, doing Michael Caine's voice is just priceless, sitting at the table doing Michael Caine. It's kind of like Sideways to me. That's what The Trip is kind of like for me. And there's going to be a sequel, and it's called The Trip to Italy. And, I'm really, really excited for this movie. It looks really awesome, and I love the first one. It was something that most people probably had never heard of, but it's something I really enjoyed. My number 5 is Maps of the Stars. I loved Cosmopolis. I really love Cosmopolis. And I will be the first one to tell you that when Robert Pattinson cares about his performance, you can definitely tell. Obviously, with Cosmopolis and Water for Elephants and Remember Me, these are great performances that have nothing to do with Twilight, and Twilight fans probably didn't even watch, or probably even know what I'm talking about when I say that. Maps of the Stars brings Cronenberg and Pattinson back together again, and The Dark Side of Hollywood, yeah, I'll buy a ticket right now. Even if I have to pay for it, I will, because it's going to be worth it. Because I can see this easily being a movie we have to watch in Athens. Most likely. My number 4 is something that we have been anticipating for years, and I don't mean that as a joke at all. This is the new installment for Sin City. This is A Dame to Kill For. And I know that, for good reason, a lot of the cast couldn't come back. But I know a lot of the cast has come back, and I don't know how Mickey Rourke's back, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Well, he was back after death before the first movie even ended.
That's true. That's a good point. I really liked the first Sin City movie, and I remember watching it way before it opened, back when we had that privilege that we thus lost. But it was really fun to just sit back and watch a movie before it opened to the general public. And I remember watching Sin City and just being completely enthralled by it.
April of 2005.
Indeed. What a great time of my life that was.
Almost 9.5 years ago when the movie comes out.
Indeed. So yes, when you believe... It's just like Chinese democracy. When something says that it's going to come out, take it with a grain of salt. You never know when it's going to come out. Don't forget, Chinese Democracy came out years ago, and it took years for it to get made. The Guns N' Roses album. So yeah. My number 3 is Foxcatcher. I've been hearing so many great things about this movie, and I think Steve Carell is going to completely break out of his just comedy roles after this movie. I think this is going to be his dramatic breakout, and I really think that he's going to turn a lot of heads in award season. And justifiably so. And Channing Tatum is growing on me daily, so his performances are getting better and better. And you can say what you want about him, but Channing Tatum's a great actor.
If Bennett Miller got Jonah Hill his first Oscar nomination, he can do it for Channing Tatum.
Yeah, and obviously I was a big proponent for Moneyball and putting over Bennett Miller all the time, so yeah, I definitely would gladly hitch my wagon to Foxcatcher, just that easily. My number 2 is Interstellar, and, this should have been number 1, but, I really want to see something a little bit more. obviously I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan, and I have seen the trailer for Interstellar, and yes, it is completely vague as all get out. Matthew McConaughey driving a truck, it's so strange, but honestly, I have complete faith Nolan's going to be able to hit it out of the park yet again. I've not seen a movie of Nolan's I've not liked, and I don't think it's going to start anytime soon. Interstellar looks to be phenomenal, and it would have been number one if this movie didn't exist. And by this movie, I mean my number one, and the movie I'm anticipating for the rest of the year, and that is David Fincher's Gone Girl. Obviously, anybody that watched any of the awards coverage last year, you would know how much I championed Ben Affleck. And when I went onto the Batman video and Will almost tried to bite my head off because I said Affleck would make a good Batman, who's laughing now, Will. But when it comes down to it, I really want to see this combination. Affleck in a Fincher movie, this is going to be awesome. And yes, it's going to be an amazing film, and I really think it's going to be really twisted and like all sorts of mess with your head. I'm really excited for it, and it's easily my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year, without any doubt. So, that being said, you will see us next time when we start our awards speculation, which is going to be coming sooner rather than later. Like, we're not that far from starting our awards speculation. We're, about a month away?
Something like that.
It's almost July, folks, so yeah, it almost will be July. It's July tomorrow, actually. So, I believe that date's right. I don't have a calendar in front of me. But yeah, it's July. I believe it's July tomorrow, so yeah, there's always that. So, once again, agree with us, disagree with us, let us know what you think. Leave us a comment, or you can send me an email, sirandisney@gmail.com, if you want to talk movies as well. Tell me about your most anticipated for the rest of the year, and what you liked and what you didn't like for the year. So, I sent you a message to AJ, but he doesn't really use anything email-wise, so just send your messages to me, and I'll make sure they get to the right people. So, that's pretty much the video for today, and hopefully you enjoyed the brand new Versus, which is already out on this channel right now. And we're going to go WWE Money in the Bank tomorrow, and that's pretty much what we got from that. Wrestling content and Halloween Horror Nights content continue next week. So, brand new AJ's movie reviews coming up next week, and a brand new Versus as well. So, AJ, any parting words?